we said 7, we said 7:30, and now it's 8 o'clock. But it's 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock now. I'm trying to fit everyone in, but just for the time being, it is just me. And you're going to say, well, why couldn't you have just done that at 6:30? And you'd be right. You'd be right. Why certain that no one wants to just hear me talk about Uniball, because I'd just be having conversations with myself. I probably could do it. In fact, that's what I do on commentary, so I definitely could do it. Yet, new year, new me, new haircut, worse haircut probably. Basically, corporate Tebs now. I need to have a real job, which is why this haircut is in place. Because I wish that I could get paid for doing all this, but there's only one broadcasting service, and it's the one that I work for. So don't know what you want. So we're going to go into it. SJ is here, thankfully. We're going to get on. I think he may have just made some pasta. Going to get the pasta review in, as per. Let's just bring him in, so it's not just me talking.
Decent pasta. Yeah.
Out of 10, Michelin stars.
It's probably a 7.
Oh, fucking bloody hell! Bloody hell!
I'm rating myself a lot higher than it probably actually is. The
Awful.
pasta was done.
It was awful. So we're just going to get into it. It's going to be a classic episode today, as I said.
Who's Test?
Where's
Who the fuck
Dylan?
is Test? Your name's Test.
Oh, that's because it was a test. I'm not going to change it now. If anyone likes wrestling from the mid-90s, that's why. Andrew Martin. Love a bit of it. Dylan, we don't know.
I genuinely don't think Dylan's coming on until they win a game.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because
they
we've
can
not
do
actually
it.
seen him since.
Yes. Yeah, I know. It's difficult, isn't it? Because obviously last year it was pretty easy to come on because they won all their games. But I do understand it somewhat, especially with we'll touch on the Edinburgh Mavericks and their absolute spice ball of a thing. I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, first week back, obviously people have got they've had their Christmas weight. If you're probably maybe a bit rusty. Maybe that's the reason for some upsets, but I'm not ready to discount any because there are some spicy ones, and your boy picked a fair few of them. Though I love this, ladies and gentlemen. I get mocked by the Mavericks, but I get loved by who was it? No, not Derby. Derby lost. Who was it? Who was Plymouth? Plymouth. Loved in Plymouth, hated in Edinburgh. Perfect. But there were some good ones. We're going to quickly go through the results now. Only one Prem fixture last week.
Boring.
And to be fair, I'd say quite a surprising scoreline. I've heard through the grapevine, Durham, if Durham's having some problems catching the ball, if Durham caught the ball more, I was told they would have won. But
I heard it was criminal weather.
Absolutely disgusting, criminal, absolutely criminal weather. Yeah, yeah. I to be fair, mate, I heard that game was an absolute riot. Such a good time. Had by all. 12-2 leads Beckett over Durham, which is surprising. Don't get me wrong. Like I said this in the old grades videos. Also, like those grades videos more because that was a lot of effort. Like them more because that's the only thing that I have to live is your approval, ladies and gentlemen. Or don't. But I said Durham was basically the gate. Unfortunately for them, they're the gatekeeper team. But having a close game like that with Beckett, really does raise Durham's stock and lessens Leeds Beckett's, despite the fact that it's a win. So moving on to Div 1, Bournemouth beat the Bath Killer Bees. I had the Killer Bees, and they were winning for what I was watching of that game. So I was really happy. And then Bournemouth they got the new pitch, they got the new kit.
The new kit as well. It looks nice.
They're now 4-1. Obviously they have got a match up with Exeter again. Still going to go Exeter. Still going to go with Exeter. Leeds Griffins dominating the LJMU Fury. I think we'll get into it. We'll get into it now. LJMU Fury, I think it's fair to say. Don't get me wrong. I love the Fury and the guys who have supported us, making memes and all that fun stuff. This is a disappointing season. The LJMU Fury have disappointed this season. I think that's fair to say now. I was holding on like LJMU, just how surprising they were last year. I had them pegged to do quite well. I'm sure you did as well, SJ. But but it's got to be a disappointment for them now. As we move on to the curse of the Southeast One divisional championship, or as the Essex Blades fall to 0-5 in our live stream game this week. Nice early kickoff. Happy I didn't have to go because I would have had to wake up super early. Now, one that I know SJ probably won't want to discuss. Oxford Lancers versus the Reading Knights, 14-0. You give one word. Are you surprised?
No,
Okay, no, I'm joking.
Oxford are a strange team.
They are. They're very strange.
They're the dominant team in our division. I say ours because he's mine.
Yeah.
It's mine. But they never blow anyone out.
No.
But they're the team that I fear the most.
It's one of those things where, like, you can have all of these great performances, but sorry, Royal Holloway, they are the team at the bottom of the division, and they drew. Like it's
a fuckery of a division.
It's a fucking again. Every division Brunel goes to, it's fucked.
Well, I think I was working it out last night. There's a possibility that going into the final week of the season, that neither one to three, as in first to second, third in the division, is still nothing's locked in.
You love games like that.
For it to go into that point, though, Oxford would need basically for Brunel and Hearts to end as a draw for them to go top. There's a lot of things that can happen. But
I can't wait for the Lancers to be there going, yes, just draw it.
He would message me that as well. He fully would message me saying, "Can you just draw it?
Just draw it.
Just for that, for the pure memes."
So moving on, a result that everyone really expected here: Exeter moved to 4-0, 45-6 over the Barracuda. Barracuda 0-5-1. Again,
I think Exeter are boring. Like they're not even being a bit like, "Ooh, might have beaten us there." Ooh, it's no. We're just gonna. What is it they say? Is it a good day out on the crumb? Is it a good day out on the crumb?
To be fair, it was a good day out on the crumb for him. The thing is, though, I think it's because Exeter, they've been in a division with Bournemouth. I think it's because Bournemouth's social media is so good. Like, don't get me wrong, Bournemouth don't really shithouse very much. Something that me and you found out a year and a bit ago. They're no shithousing. But like, if they trip up, then that entire South West one is going to jump down their throats. But again, still they're on a roll. I think this one for me the division is now locked up in the Midlands one.
I firmly see Exeter going all the way to the final.
So do I.
I think last year was a blip. That game against Hearts was a blip. I don't think any of us actually expected Hearts to win that one. But no, like I'm seeing they got 3 players going to the CFL.
Yes, yeah.
Like, I'm just thinking, what? What? I'm on top of the 2 GFL. Like it's insane what they've got going down there.
I'm just so happy that I was able to jump on the Exeter train fairly early. But I know that you felt the same way, that they definitely had the potential to go very, very far. And again, I don't think it's going to end. A team that they may potentially see in the final is, I think they've got it locked up now. Midlands one. I think it belongs to NTU. I know that there's some. I'm sure there is some level of fuckery that could occur. But 5-0, 40-12 over Hallam. That was their last big challenge. I know that they've got a rematch with Hallam coming up, but Hallam would have to, I think, win out, and NTU would have to lose one, and then they'd have to beat NTU by a certain number of points. But I don't see it happening. So I think that NTU can go home, and NTU's quarterback has a YouTube, and it's actually, I enjoyed watching it. So
he's top of the Div 1 for passing touchdowns, isn't he?
Yeah, well, yeah. That's especially being there and seeing that he's definitely got the capabilities. He is an American. Let's get that. Question. Dive into the narrative.
Is that the question? That's probably the thing now, isn't it? Is having an American quarterback the way to succeed?
No, it's the same thing with the NFL. Like, if you don't have the pieces around,
you have an American quarterback, you'll succeed.
Yeah, No, but you know what I mean. Like, if you have like if you have Tom Brady, but your O
Yeah.
line's made up of like me, like gangly and my knees don't work, your quarterback will die. Like, you've got to have the pieces in place. It definitely helps. Like someone who's been playing, you know, this long, that's why people ask me about the rugby guy, Zammit. He's not been playing.
I can't remember his name. All I know is that one of my colleagues in the office was devastated.
Devas.
He was devastated. She's realised that she said, "Wales are fucked now," basically.
Well, all I'm saying, be funny if he's there. Be funny. Be funny if he's there. UEA beat QMBL 46-14. Yep, par for the course. Really. Rest in peace, Dylan. Shut out by Glasgow 14-0. It's a bit strange considering how close that game was the first time around. I believe it was 14-15 to Glasgow over Heriot-Watt the first time they met. So, not looking particularly good for the Wolverines. Though, again, we do like the Wolverines, but, not been one that's been coveting. I think that's fair to say. Brunel.
Yeah, a bit tough.
Brunel do some stuff.
I wasn't even there.
I know you weren't.
That's probably someone messaged me saying that's probably why they did so well. I went, yeah, fine. See if I care.
If only there was a team you could go to, where would it be?
What
What would
me?
it,
I'm not going anywhere.
the Gullet? Brunel beat the Royal Holloway Bears 56-0. And I'd say at a Div 1 this week, saving the best for last, the Stirling Clansmen fall to the Edinburgh Mavericks 15-0.
We made a mistake on that one, didn't
Yeah,
we?
we certainly did. But realistically, I saw the game being close, but I didn't see Edinburgh winning. I'll say that now. I didn't have the Mavericks pulling that off at all. Absolute surprise to me. I'd say it makes the Scottish one, which is a very chaotic division, mainly based on weather and exams, a bit more interesting now. It's not just.
Got 2 walkovers.
What's that?
Heriot-Watt got 2 walkovers. I thought it was only 1.
No, it's 2.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a clash between, or it's going to be a struggle to figure out who the number 1 is.
In that division, it comes down to who plays their games. Like, it sounds silly, but I genuinely think that's what it comes down to, because there's a lot of teams that I'm just looking on Bucks now. There's so many outstanding fixtures still.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of time to play them in.
Sterling have got 2 that were meant to happen before Christmas and still haven't been rescheduled on Bucks. So it's that could be the difference for them between making the playoffs, potentially winning the division, and staying at home.
And it's so strange because it's so difficult to sort of quantify the Scottish one, because it is made up of I know Heriot-Watt did win their division last year, but then you've got the Knights, the Bulls. I feel like I'm forgetting someone else from count from Div 2.
Yeah,
No, Knights, Bulls, Wolverines.
Edinburgh.
No, Edinburgh was still Div 1. Knights, Bulls, Wolverines.
Glasgow.
Glasgow didn't come up from Div 2.
You're thinking of UWS.
I think I'm thinking of UWS. God, I haven't thought about UWS in a while. How tragic. It's because it's made up of teams who came up from Div 2 without having that winning season. It is a bit difficult to quantify just how well that they're going to be doing come playoff time, where they've got to travel and have people come to them from divisions that aren't made up of half, third Div 2 sides.
Because that's the thing, isn't it? It's the equivalent of dumping like Chichester into Div 1 South.
Well, I'd say that. No, I wouldn't say that. I'd say probably like dumping like Solent. I'd say Solent and Napier Knights. They're on the same level.
Oh, they need to play each other. That's what we need.
that's what it is. This is what this is. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see playoff time. Sorry, Scottish Div 1. It wouldn't surprise me if Scottish team was just to exit it.
I think that's Yeah, I think that could be what ends up happening.
You know,
Like
because
it's bad, but
because
they
I
can't afford it.
realistically, it's potentially maybe Warwick could be going up to Scotland, and Glasgow could be coming down. I think the away team. I'll say this now. I'll do not Teb's guarantee, but I think the team from the Scottish one who travels, they will lose because they'll be going to NTU, they'll be going to, and unless there's like an inter Scottish one, then that maybe sort of changes things. But if they have to travel to Leeds or Nottingham, no, don't like their odds. Moving on to Div 2, which again had its fair share of upsets this week. We can start off with walkover. Canterbury Chargers give one up to Greenwich. Now this one is key because I'm the smartest man who ever lived. Plymouth 16, Aberystwyth with 8. I mile away, mile away, mile away. I knew it. I knew it. Mainly because when we had Sam Kimber, the president of Aberystwyth, on the show, it's an away fixture for Aberystwyth. Like, that journey's ludicrous. Like, you can't do that. Like, don't get me wrong, Aberystwyth are a good side, but that journey's mad, and Plymouth are a good side. Easy for me. Swansea Titans keep winning. Still haven't had a point scored on them this
I
season.
think they're coming straight back up.
Yep. Don't look at the t-shirt, ladies and gentlemen. Though we are streaming that game.
Up.
Wow. But yeah, Swansea look like they're on the fast track to going up 56-0 over Worcester. This is probably the biggest one, which I'll probably get back to last. I'll tell you what, this is one we didn't see coming. We all picked against, apart from, I think, Jamie. DMU losing to Cambridge 20-0. Didn't see it coming. Cambridge hadn't scored any points up until this game. They scored 20, beat DMU. Yeah, not ideal.
We've had a bad week, haven't we?
I've had quite a good week, but that one, it's like the Pythons didn't come and jump down our throats, which is lovely. So I'll take that. Sunderland losing to York 22-30. I think that's a good performance from Sunderland. But York continue their winning ways in going into their clash with Northumbria towards the end of the season, who beat the York St John Jaguars 69-0. Nice. Edge Hill beating Staffordshire. I wouldn't call it an upset, but it's a good result from Edge Hill. I think Edge Hill is definitely one of those teams that just keeps grinding, keeps going, and Lancaster being killed 26-6. Again, not much of a surprise there. So moving on to the big upset. Nottingham Green 30. Derby Braves 12. Who got it right? Who got it right? Mate, I'm the king. It's easy. But where this goes into now is the Green have got a game on Wednesday against the Lincoln Colonials. So the Nottingham could have the div wrapped up on Wednesday, realistically. And they could, go down in history as being the first seconds team to get to Div 1. Whereas, but it also now opens the door for Lincoln. They can now see that Derby are beatable because but then Lincoln have got a very stressful week in it themselves as they play Nottingham on Wednesday and Derby on Sunday. Not a massive turnaround for your two biggest games of the season, but alumni wise, I'm rooting for them. But I think it's going to be interesting to see if Nottingham can just take the division on a Wednesday, go out, rock City, great time at Bile.
There's a lot of midweek games coming up. I think literally most weeks have now got at least one midweek game.
It's so strange. Like the Super Bowl rolls around, and that's where teams start panic.
To that point now where if a game gets called off, it is tough.
It's tough. It is. As and as well as more specifically someone like Hertfordshire knows, not playing a game can be the difference between having a home playoff game and an away first round.
It's killed us 2 years in a row. It's killed us. We've not played 8 games since pre-COVID.
Oof.
We've always had 7.
Sort your pitches out. So, well, not Southeast, doesn't matter now. Southern. Have you had any games postponed in Southern?
You had Royal Holloway and Reading before Christmas.
Oh, okay.
that was proving to be a challenging one because neither team has any more weeks left.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, I don't think either team has floodlights.
Well, I know Reading definitely don't.
And the Reading don't.
Oh no, no, neither do Holloway. No, because they play like their surfaces are very similar.
I
You know.
don't. I think from what I saw on people's Instagram and stuff, I think Holloway do have um, portable floodlights of some sort. But whether you can actually use them or not for then
I
is
was going to say that
the problem
you.
is that might be a case of if Royal Holloway were to win that, you know, I I wouldn't be. I'd do the same in their boat. Is I'd suddenly become very unavailable for trying to reschedule a game.
Yes, yeah. You know, like it's not out of the water from yet. Like that draw is very much saving them, but in same way the draws, holding Oxford back a little bit. Um, but again, these walkovers. Though I will say, given last year, I feel as though that we had to put out so many frozen pitch alerts that it seems like it's better than last year. It's going to be interesting to see what is.
Wasn't there 2 weeks before Christmas last year where it was just frozen pitches
I
across?
believe I believe it was something like we put up like a meme graphic of like Frost Monster,
Yeah,
and it was like something absolutely ridiculous. So like it seems to be better, but then it does seem to be very much
I think
tight.
the weekend just gone. We got lucky. I think
Yes,
everyone got lucky. If it had been that cold for one more day, it would have ruled out most of Sunday's games.
yeah, 100%. Like it was just like very very windy. I feel like unless it's really really bad, you can't really call a game off because it's windy. Um, but I think that's going to be the problem for teams going forward. Is make sure that all your running backs are healthy because that ball is going to be absolutely sailing. So, just because we don't have a guest, because we want to keep it nice and simple this week, nice one week. Don't worry, Jamie will be back. He didn't melt over Christmas, but he's an English teacher and he's got work he needs to do. Don't know what you want. No, like Hull Sharks Ag this week, which is nice. But they do have the rematch of the Battle of the Bastards, I believe it was coined by Jamie, and
Uniball.
and Hull. Um, you got anything you want to touch on, just as sort of like a middle topic? Because
I
I'm
think
sort of happy.
the memes have died in that with those two teams. I've not seen much content over Christmas.
Well, I think it's this. I think it's the same as like.
They've all got serious and started doing their exams. It's disgraceful.
Well, I think it's like if I was about to say if you start winning, but Hull weren't winning last year and still did it. I'd say I expect some memes for varsity between Hull and Lincoln again,
You like
but
me?
it's difficult to do the memes when you're losing. Um, but more memes. Give me. To be fair, we say this, but Edinburgh put out a nice slate, nice little spread of memes for us all to enjoy. Say that, and I'll start calling you the Predators every week. Have
Hang on,
that.
were you? I'm just looking at the other leagues. So the one that I was thinking about was Southeast One,
Mhm.
because Southeast One has had all manners of nonsense happen. That's meant
True.
games haven't happened. Uh, it looks like, and is Kent have had to take a walkover.
Against.
Queen Mary.
Yeah, because isn't this the one where the bus didn't turn up, but everyone was ready?
But for that to happen, that would mean that the bus wasn't booked in the first place.
I can't remember. I believe that's what it ended up being.
Yeah, because if you book the bus and you can show I'm putting my hat on now. If you book the bus and you can show you booked the bus, you can't take a walkover because it's like that's not my fault that they didn't turn up.
Well, if again, this isn't me trying to tell any porcupines, but if I remember correctly from what we were told, is that they didn't book the bus or something to that effect.
So if they didn't book the bus, then yeah, fair enough.
Why would I want to?
That's quite interesting. So
The
does that
classic.
mean
Go on.
Essex down?
Well, I think Essex are down.
Nah, surely not.
You just want them to be down, so just
Essex could be down. I'm devastated.
absolutely devastated. Again, mate, it's this curse. You spoke it into
It's cursed.
existence.
It is why we've not won it the last 2 years, because it results in relegation.
Cursed. But speak of that,
That's the main reason.
Imperial doing quite
Gone,
well. Well, doing quite well, but in Div 2.
gone, gone.
It's the same
Vanished to
thing.
Div 2.
I'm surprised that I didn't get more hate about giving Coventry an A in my gradings. And you know what? I don't feel bad about it at all. Embrace relegation.
So, hang on, if I get that right, it means that. Yeah, it basically means that the Kent and UEA game, which we could have hyped up as being a very tasty one, is probably going to mean fuck all now. Because Kent could win that, but it doesn't change the fact that
No.
UEA is still going to the division.
Yeah. Well, there you go, UEA. Celebrate on your pirate ship. If Jamie was here, you'd be having a much worse time. He'd be telling you don't deserve it, and all the rest. And he would do. But
he loves it.
but yeah, personally, I think Midlands won. I think that is NTU's. Got that prediction right. Bless up.
I've had a shitter with my predictions, I think, this year, like league wise.
I think we're going to go back to when it all concludes. But the Scottish one's looking a bit shaky now. Obviously, the I feel like the Prem. I think we've probably got that nailed. I think
got that in the bag.
Yeah.
Southeast 2.
I think who's in? Is that who knows? Who did
That's
I
the
have?
one. Yeah, that's the one where medics don't turn up to their game.
Yep. Why would they? Weekend. Everyone knows that. There's a little inside joke there for you.
But that's a headache as well, that one.
What, concussions?
Whether that gets played or not. No, well, yeah, that was funny. That game, whether that game gets played or not, potentially comes down to what happens with another team in that division.
Backstage banter. You can't know it. We're going to move on to next week. Well, this week going forward, we are going to cut. I'm going to I'm probably not going to be able to get the post out before Wednesday, unless I really because I can't, because I need Jamie's and Dylan's picks. So just off chance here, just for the show, SJ Lincoln versus Nottingham Green. Who have you got?
Green.
I'm going to back the boys. I'm going to back the boys. Just because I hope. Just because
depends on the mentality. If Green have that mentality of like, we beat Derby easy.
It's gonna be one of those things like we saw it a couple of years ago with like there was the triumvirate, a triangle of horror. Staffordshire, Lincoln, Green. Because DMU decided to do stuff. Have some banter. We haven't got like a banter level playoff ruining scandal this year, which is
we've not had anything really. We've had Beckett pop up twice.
Yeah.
Both for funny reasons. We've had Portsmouth, SGS.
Yeah. Well, potentially LJM. Oh, I think it's LJMU versus Liverpool. I think that's the last fully memeable game that could happen. I need something like I need a Derby Braves refusing to play because the pitch was just painted. I need one of those, or Winchester waiting for the bus. I need something like that. Tonye has done too good of a job, and it's gone too right this season. I need just one thing, and watch it happen to fucking Gloucestershire now because I've said that. Meme myself into Div 3. But even like on the Bafra News report, there's nothing really funny, and it was from December, so all the memes are ancient. So I can't even give you one of them.
Hasn't the Uniball memes TikTok gone as well?
It has, yeah. I was gutted because that
runs that because it needs to come back.
Whoever runs that, do it again because that was really, really helping my self-esteem issues.
I reckon their mums found out about it and went, "No, son.
Why have you got so many pictures of this big fat man on your phone? Who is he? That's Temp's mum. That's Temp's. Tebs isn't real. Tebs isn't real. We can't hurt you. Don't
Wake
worry
up.
about it.
I saw the Uniball one yesterday. That was a good one.
What's that?
The pens. That was the
That was
Uniball
good. That was made from a Gloucester Gladiator because you know what? I've said this. I love those pens. Those pens are those pens are what make me wake up in the morning. There you go. End of it. That's the end of the joke. So we're going to move on to this week, week 11. It feels like just yesterday, and now we're coming to the end of the regular season. So obviously we've Nottingham Green versus Lincoln. What I know, and I'm a bit biased. Obviously the shirt, really good game. Both teams are very, very close in terms of their statistics and points scored and things of that nature. Rivalry game. I wore a dress shirt under my pads when I played them last year. Just a side point. And you know what's this weird thing, SJ? That's the second time I played a game of football wearing a dress shirt underneath my pads. It's weird though, isn't it? It's weird.
I just don't know what you're doing. Like, what are you doing?
Well, basically, I couldn't game because I was in so much pain.
Oh yeah,
And then I still played it. Because I'm a fucking my foot doesn't hurt anymore. So, or maybe it was just diabetes.
There's so many disgustingly early kickoffs this year.
Oh, like honestly, when Steve was like, "Oh, it's a 10:30 kickoff for KCL Essex," I was like, "No, there's no way that like if
I want to know what time that the teams had to get there for."
Oh,
because
the thing is, if I remember correctly, the Bath Exeter game that was to be played at Bath, that was postponed. I believe that had a very early kickoff as well.
I just don't get it. I mean, it depends on where you book it, I guess, doesn't it? Like if you're booking it externally and you kind of a bit stuck with the times you get given, but then I wonder how many teams are doing it just to take the piss.
Just get it right. Everyone knows.
Like if I if we were to make playoffs and I see a game that says 10 a.m., I'm fuming.
No, it's.
There's no reason for it to be 10 a.m.
Like, don't get me wrong. I know that it's not really up to anyone. It's not up to the team really. Like you are burdened by outside factors, but Jesus Christ, like a 10 a.m. start, like that could really, ruin some teams. Again, I know that I brought it up earlier, but like imagine if you have to. It's a 10 a.m. kickoff. What?
Yeah, that's going to say. What if you get? Let's say you've got let's say we're taking the two highest ranked seeds. Let's say it's UEA versus Exeter. I believe that is the longest journey you can do in the south.
It's in the south.
And Exeter put it at 10 o'clock just to be funny. I would laugh, to be fair, because I'm not involved. But if I was on UEA's team, I'd be crying because what do you do?
It would be really funny.
It would be very funny. But do you get do you get a bus at 4 a.m.? Do you go up the night before? What do you do?
If you Div 1, I'm fairly certain you can swing a hotel for the night before.
This shit isn't cheap, Christopher. It's not cheap.
No, I know. No, I don't know. I don't know what you do.
Let's have
Cry.
A look.
Inject
University of East Anglia.
You know what you do? You take a Monster Energy Aussie lemonade and you pour it into your eyes. That's what you do.
The University of Exeter. Right, let's have a look. That is clapped. 5 hours 15 minutes.
I believe the potential longest one, because we looked at it last year, is again potential if these teams were to make the playoffs. Well, they can't now, but if they were, it was Aberdeen,
Cambridge.
No, it was Coventry to Aberdeen.
Oh, what? In Division 1.
Yeah.
No, it can't have been because Aberdeen was Division 2. So it was Cambridge to.
No, because Aberdeen's Div 1.
No, but they were Div 2 last year.
Oh, sorry, last year. I meant last year.
It was Cambridge. I think it was Cambridge.
Yeah. Cambridge being in the north is still.
But I think they're in the Midlands for quite a few sports. But then I've never. Look, what the fuck is that?
Oh, it's
That
only
is
6. Oh, no. Again, I said this earlier, Reese. Like, I think that's definitely a factor into why I picked Plymouth to win. Like, you can't do that on was it an interleague game or interdivision game?
7 hours.
7 hours.
It's 4.5. Oh, I suppose if you're on a coach, it takes longer.
I'll tell you what, the coach from Gloucestershire to Aberdeen, it didn't have heaters for the windows. Bus driver had to keep pulling over and wiping the window. We all thought he was stopping food. There's no service stations as well. Like, I feel bad. Well, obviously that once they get into North Wales, it's pretty dire unless there's some hidden service station that the Tara and I aren't telling me about.
The longest trip, yeah, the longest trip in the south in Dib 1 is definitely UEA to Plymouth, to Exeter.
What is for Div 2? No, Aberystwyth. It'd be Aberystwyth again, really. Aberystwyth, Brighton.
No, Aberystwyth to Canterbury.
Oh, jeez, Louise. That would have been absolutely disgusting, at least. Aberystwyth would have had
It's 6 hours.
It's only 6, love.
But it's but it's 6
That's
hours
by
by
car.
a car.
Oh, you could go to Lanzarote in less time.
Do you know which one could actually happen? You could potentially see. No, that's not as far. That's not as far as I thought it would be.
What's that?
Because Aberystwyth could definitely make the playoffs still.
100%, yeah.
And I'm just thinking of teams in the southeast. They're all in central London. Greenwich.
Yeah, but still, I'd hate to be on the Aberystwyth one. It's like, oh, by the way, guys, we've got a bus journey to Imperial. I just hate it. Yeah.
It's disgraceful.
Imperial's got me a bacon sandwich as well. Never forget. Yeah, they do.
Norwich is further north than Leicester.
Is it?
Actually, no. Maybe Leicester might pip it just by a couple miles.
Anyway, let's move on.
We've gone into geography.
No, to be fair though, it is interesting because we love talking about it. We'll talk Uniball all day. So Gloucestershire versus Plymouth, big game. Will I be there? Yes. There you go. Probably. I would say probably, but no, I am. I'm going to be there because that's a really good game and I want to watch it. But I have been. Someone said to me, "Wouldn't it be funny if like a baseball manager, not playing, but I just go in full kit, whole game on the sidelines, just full kit."
So I might do that when I finally call it a day. Just I'm not telling you when I'm going to do it. I'm not
shouting at players while in full kit. But yeah, I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to want to watch Gloucestershire versus Swansea for 2 reasons. It's going to be a good game, and secondly, it's going to be a Chris Tebbett 3-hour comedy special where I try and make jokes to all the people that I used to play with, and not get myself in trouble. But moving on, because that's in a week's time. Canterbury versus King.
If it happens.
If it happens.
I've lost the sound.
Try then to say positively. So I'm going to move on. Surrey Stingers versus Brighton. I feel like if there's one team that could potentially upend Brighton and their
what is that
quest for perfect, Sussex and Brighton are still undefeated. And the best part, ladies and gentlemen, and I tell you what, this one, I try not to overhype live stream games, but I'm so happy. It won't be me doing it, I will say, but we are streaming Brighton versus Sussex. And I think as far as Div 2 games go, that is going to be one of the better ones. And that's probably going to decide the Southeast 2, or at least I think so. Now, this game right here, if you're not excited for this game, you should be. You should be so excited for this game because it's Bath Spa Bulldogs. But no, hold on. Versus the Worcester Royals. That is a game.
Isn't this always the game where
I can't pick. It's a good game when you can't pick. We'll do predictions in a second, but I can't pick that. not for the right reasons, obviously. But I can't pick that. I can pick that. I know who I'm picking. But I think about it.
Really?
Um,
Did they play last year?
yes, they would have done. I think Bath won.
Let me have a look.
Check the statistics. Also in the Southwest 2, we've got the UWE Bullets
It was 6-0.
2s versus.
Yeah, it's a Bath Spa.
Bang, come on, Bulldogs. UE Bullets 2s versus Swansea Titans. Think Swansea, but be a good challenge for them. Obviously, the big one in Lincoln's double header is Derby Braves versus Lincoln, which very well could. If Lincoln lose to Nottingham, divisions cooked, and that game will basically be for playoff seeding. So there's still stuff on the line for it, but if you're a Lincoln Colonials fan, much like I am, you're going to be wanting 2 wins in less than a week. Probably who I think is going to decide the Northern 2A is also happening this weekend, and that's Northumbria versus York. Personally, I think Northumbria will go away with it, but that's going to be a bit in the 2A. Staffordshire versus UClan, Sussex versus Oxford Brooks. That's all of Div 2. So moving on to Division Premiership. Well, I'll go back to 1. Don't get aggy with me like Jamie does. It's just how they're laid out on my screen. A game that we might be streaming. We'll get confirmation on it. We might work out some things. The Bullets versus the Cobras.
A fun day out.
Fun.
Yes.
It's going to be a fun day out. I want to stream a Bullets game. They look like a lot of fun. And the Cobras, I like the Cobras. Simple as
Can't
that.
wait to see Shash score 20 touchdowns again.
Oh, simple. It's like the thing off the UE stat sheet. Just going, oh, that's the 180th touchdown.
It is quite funny, isn't it? Like, just
Yeah.
when you like the guy that does the UAAF hub stuff. It's so funny when it's the Prem stats and it's the Bullets involved.
Yeah.
Because it just shouldn't it shouldn't be possible.
It was the one that you found the other day where it was like, Jadarian Clark playing easy mode on Madden in real life during the off season.
But those stats on there, some teams definitely inflate them.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at you, Oxford Brooks. I do not believe that you've got a guy that has 70 tackles, and the next closest has like 20. That's ridiculous.
What mate? Watch it. You're about to get inundated with the Oxford Brooks
I
highlight
don't
packages.
care. That means he averages 15 tackles a game. What they've done is they've took tackles, they've took assists, they've took TFLs, they've took sacks, and they've gone, fuck it. It's one big thing.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. You have all those tackles and you're not winning. So
yeah, like that. That's the big thing to take away from it.
It's
a
team game, not an individual game. Get a grip.
Get also like I know that you're going to get one next year, but calling you Oxford Brooks, just I said that you'd go for the Oxford Brooks Saxons again or something.
They got a different name.
No, they're just Oxford Brooks now.
They have nothing.
No,
just stats.
Just the Oxford Brooks statistics. Oh, great name. Moving on. Moving on. A decider for Premiership South relegation potentially.
I thought you were talking about winning it.
No, don't be stupid, mate. Birmingham Lions will face off against Portsmouth Destroyers. Obviously, their first meeting in week 1, many moons ago. Portsmouth upset Birmingham Lions, I will say, after the Lions were up 14-0 at the half. Portsmouth came back and won 17-14. In the north, Nottingham Gold versus Durham. I think it's gonna have a lot more eyes on it now that with that score from Durham last week. But I still think Gold win that. Beckett versus Newcastle. Definitely going to be packing your old student IDs. I think that's pretty fair to say.
That's a meme game, that isn't it? Really,
it is a meme game. Yeah, I think that's the. We've got a couple of meme games.
I think it's quite interesting how the team that was seen to be in the wrong, which was Beckett, have actually come out looking a lot better than Newcastle, because now Newcastle, every game they play, someone mentions IDs to them.
Yeah. It's just more hassle for your committee on Newcastle. Div 1, we're moving into now. MMU versus Leeds. Yeah. Love you, Connor. But yeah. Hull Sharks versus LJMU. Meme game, but they're both quiet because, you know,
Game.
it was a meme game. Much better last year. And we'll do predictions in a second. NTU versus Coventry again. 2 A+ teams from me. Can Coventry do it? That is the question. Sheffield Hallam versus Leicester again. Leicester look like they're staying up. Good. Simple as that. Bournemouth versus Exeter in the rematch, which I believe is Sport Tech live streamed game.
Oh, that is this weekend. Oh.
Yeah, in Bournemouth. Obviously, they've just come off a big win against Bath. Going to be interesting to see if the Bobcats can dethrone Exeter, shake up the Southwest's one. Don't see it happening personally. Bath Killer Bees versus Bristol. Obviously, they drew very strangely at the end of last season. But, you know, I think Bath will have it, you know, I think they see that as a very odd blip. Very strange time for them. Hearts versus Oxford. You know, I think that's a very good game. Continue to, but
that's a battle. That's a battle of who's got the better Americans.
Yeah. Yeah, and
that's
I remember
it gets very spicy. Spicy if Hearts win. Very spicy.
And also we've got, you know, Brunel facing Reading, especially after last week for both teams at home.
We've not been at home since game 1. We've not been at home since like the end of October.
You know, like I think after the performances from both teams last week, I think it's one of those ones that I'm not going to think too much about in terms of picking it, and I'm sure
I wouldn't say that, because every time we've blown a team out, what happens the following?
Just ruins it.
It ruins it, and not happy.
Kent versus KCL. You know, seems to be that Kent can't win the div anymore, but you know KCL are still, you know, they're looking good. They're doing a lot better than I would give them credit for at the start of the season. So, but you know, I'm on the Kent Falcons train. Even still, going up to Scotland, Stirling versus Aberdeen. I think that's a win back, and then UEA versus QMBL again. I think
should be UEA. I think they'll wrap the division up. No problem at all.
So I know this is what people are here for. We're just going to go back through all of those again and just say who we think is going to win. Simple as that. Okay. Starting off in the Prem, Bullets by.
I forgot we do this.
Remember, it was 56 or something last time, or 65, or
yeah. Technically, Cardiff are the best team against. They've conceded less than SGS, and SGS get very upset about that. They get very, very upset. 60. No, it's just after Christmas, isn't it? Frankie's going to want to take the piss.
Yes, yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. 69. 69.
75.
75. I'm going 69. Because you see the traction when a team gets 69, the whole comments are nice.
But would they do that on a Bullets post? They'd be stuck. They'd be stuck on what they can do.
That's not very nice.
If Bullets are watching, get to 69 and stop. Just stop, because then you've got the most conflicted comment section.
Yeah. So this is an interesting one. Birmingham versus Portsmouth. I believe it is Birmingham at home.
I think Birmingham will win it.
So do I, because that sets up a spicy game for Super Bowl Sunday. Portsmouth versus Cardiff for relegation. Nottingham Gold versus the Saints.
Gold.
Leeds Beckett versus Newcastle. Everyone wins. The internet wins.
Oh, do you actually want me to? Oh, I thought it's Beckett.
Yeah. I have to get you to say it, otherwise you'll say something ludicrous, and I'll write down Newcastle. Okay, so Div 1, MMU versus Leeds.
Leeds.
Leeds. LJMU versus Hull.
Fuck.
It's
Who won it
hard,
last?
isn't it? Hull.
Wasn't it like something really shit?
Yes.
Who's at home?
Hull. No.
No, it's LJMU, isn't it?
It's
Because last.
LJMU. It was a Hull. It was Hull home last
Hey,
time.
come on, LJMU. I want them to please. That's going to be the bracket buster this week, I think.
Bracket buster. NTU versus Coventry. NTU.
NTU.
Yeah. Hallam versus Leicester.
Hallam.
Hallam. Yeah. Simple as that. Bournemouth versus Exeter. Do Bobcats come back? That
No,
is the question. No.
no.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not.
gonna.
Like, I think Bournemouth are a good team, but from watching that game on Friday,
Yeah.
I'm not convinced.
So like
Like,
so it's like sorry to ye old Hull. Oh, Hull are at home. That change anything for you?
Joshua, do we have to give a shit about this game?
Which one? Hull Elgin? Yeah. I mean, it has got implications of
I think
relegation.
football. The Uniball is the winner. The memes from the are the
Right. Well,
winner.
I'm going to pick Hull.
Okay,
So
fine. I'll go
fine.
LU then.
No, but I completely agree with you that it doesn't seem to have the sort of panache that Bournemouth seem to come with in the last few years. Um, but that's from that's my
It was a
perspective.
good, it was a good game to watch, but
Yeah,
I very much felt like Bath through that game.
I wasn't happy with it, obviously, because I picked Bath.
Like
So
I'm seeing the touchdown from the end, like the passing touchdown, great throw, but that DB should have been picking that off.
moving
What
on.
do I
Oh,
know? I'm a bench warmer.
oh yeah, you are. Killer Bees versus Bristol.
Is is Lewis playing?
Um, I don't know because he had an ankle injury last week.
What point in the game did he get injured?
No, he wasn't there.
Oh, oh, oh! I didn't watch the game very well then.
No, no, I don't believe he was there, which is why I was surprised that Bath had a convincing lead going
Bath.
into it.
I'll
Which
go
is
with
why I
Bath.
think BKB.
I think Bath have grown into the season.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So these are the ones that SJ doesn't do. Hertfordshire versus Oxford. I think Oxford's.
America.
I think Oxford's time. I think it's come. And I'm going to go with the Hurricanes. Also, Brunel versus Reading. As much as SJ is going to try and ward me off of picking Brunel, I am going to pick them. Simply because bad week for Reading last week, great week for Reading. Sorry, great week for Brunel this last week as well. So moving on, Kent versus KCL.
Kent.
Kent, yeah, I agree with that. Stirling versus Aberdeen.
Sterling.
See Stirling. Like I think Aberdeen, as much as they may try,
I feel like I've forgotten like half of these teams and how bad they are.
Aberdeen have got a victory, but it's a walkover. There you go. UEA versus QMBL. UEA. Simple as. So we're going to move on to Div 2 so we can wrap this up. This late night episode of The Rundown. On to, nope, that's the results for. Christ, hang on. Gloucestershire versus Plymouth. You have to pick it.
Plymouth.
Yeah.
My logic behind that is that Aberystwyth beat Gloucester.
I can tell you my reasoning. Plymouth have, I imagine Plymouth have come back training far earlier because they know they had a critical game against Aberystwyth. They're match ready. Yeah, and I think that there's going to be some rust on the chassis of the Gladiators. But I've said this, I don't think that's private information. So, and if it is, who cares? What they're going to do? Kick me off? I'm just that old man, but I'm basically that man and his dog from Oxford. I just sort of hang around the team going, yeah, remember when I used to play? Like it was 10 years ago when it was actually just last year. Canterbury versus Kingston, if it gets played.
Walkover
Yeah.
win. Walkover win, and that turns into a different game entirely.
Yeah. Solent versus Chichester. Solent. Yep. Surrey versus Brighton. I think it could be an upset, but I think it
Brighton.
could. I think it could be an upset,
I
but
was,
I'm not gonna. I'm like if it was on Sky Sports, I might put 50p on it.
I was on the Surrey train at the start of the season, and it just hasn't gone the way I
No,
wanted it to.
no. Do you pick them to win that div? Ooh, if you have, got to go back. Got to check the statistics. The the game of the week. The people in the same division as the Titans. The Bath Spa Bulldogs versus the Worcester Royals.
Bath Spa.
Yeah, same. They're going to be buzzing about that. Swansea. Derby versus Lincoln.
Derby. I'm still on the Derby train. If they let me down again, they're gonna know. I'm gonna tell them.
I don't know. I'm going to DM them.
Oh,
DM them some nasty words.
yeah.
Stafford Lairn.
Euclid.
Euclid. Sussex versus Oxford Brooks.
Sussex.
Sussex, nice and simple. And last, but by no means least, the battle for the Northern 2A. The Northumbria Mustangs versus the York Centurions.
Northumbria.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an absolutely great game, and it's going to be one of those ones where I'm not going to, jump out of my seat like an Edinburgh beating Stirling situation if York do win it. But, Northumbria have just been people. And what's that thing that they've got? That thing that you have that wins you games.
An American quarterback.
Oh, that's the one, yeah. Yeah, they do have one of those. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you here next week. I'll confirm the time with everyone. I'll make sure it's posted. Potentially could have a game coming at you on Saturday between the Bullets and the Cobras. 6:30 kickoff there. I will obviously you'll know if that takes place. You'll know, but currently unconfirmed. I mean, I think it's likely. And then on Sunday, we have got the Bournemouth Uni Bobcats and the Exeter Demons in their rematch. We'll get all the posts out to you. Hope you've enjoyed your holidays and all that, but get serious now. Time to fucking lock in. It's fucking Uniball time. Play sports. Do more sports better. Unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable, Jeff. From me, from SJ.
Good night.
Goodbye.